You can't make up for lost time. You can only try to do better in the future. Do you have time for AI? Well, we are back with another episode of AI in education. And this time we're all about just like trying to discover together a new tool because literally they're all new to us. And I am Sandra Weiser Matthews, and I have a history in education, teaching high school learners. And now I'm at the college level, and I also teach master's level teachers and those getting their student teaching and teaching for the first time. And I'm with Casey Wacker, and she is a high school educator, and she also teaches in the college system. What do we call it now, Casey? What is the label?
It's concurrent enrollment. So the students are technically high school students, but they're also college students. So dual enrollment also is another term. So yeah, I have this exposure to the competencies and the expectations of a college level, introductory writing courses and introductory public speaking courses, but it's in the high school setting. So I also have all of the, parameters that come with teaching in that space. And then, of course, just naturally, I am inclined to learn more and do more as it relates to technology. One of my other roles at the school that I teach at is a technology integrationist. So part of my role is to help teachers integrate new resources within their classrooms.
And we're also parents. So we also know how important AI is playing out in their lives. You have younger children, mine are older, and boy, it's interesting, but that's like another conversation. But today what we wanted to do was to show you, and it might be a little bit messy, but what we're going to do is play with a new tool. So it's not ChatGPT, and it's not Bing or Bard and all of those. It's really focused on education. It's really an educational tool, EduAid AI, and we are just going to open it up and show you and play, and it's going to be a little bit messy, and we're just going to walk through it and try to give you some ideas how you could actually use this in the classroom. And as our opening was like, can it save you time? Because that's the one thing we all say, that we never have enough time, or we don't prioritize it correctly. But what if we prioritize to get some of the minutia, as we've said before, out of it, kept the human in the loop, which is us, and really had the more time that we really want for the future. So that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to play and see how this all looks. So I've already opened up an example. So what we have right here is a tool that's AI that's just for education. And that is what's different than what we've been sharing and talking about before with ChatGPT and Bard and Bing and all of those. This is specifically to help educators, and it's really streamlined the process. So if you've played around in ChatGPT or any of the others, this is very different, but it's still asking and crafting questions and critically thinking along the way. But it just gives you options to help filter and structure and even save you more time so that you can add your own humanity to the lesson in there. So you'll notice up here that we have all different kinds. We have different categories of topics, of subjects, and then we have something called an enrichment. And I thought I would just pick that. We can have any grade level, and I can even use college level, which is great. And then, Casey can use that as well as with high school students. And then we have, do you want to have it so it's planning? Do you want to plan? Do you want resources to be searched that'll help plan? Or information objects, independent practice? Do you want cooperative learning? Do you turn it into gamification? Do you want to just ask questions? So I kind of like the idea of cooperative learning. And I really thought that debate would be cool. So I just clicked on debate. And then I put in my topic or keywords, which was use Dr. Gholdy Muhammad's theory of identity, skill development, intellectualism, and criticality and joy, which is her framework for lesson planning, and apply this framework for teaching Lincoln Douglas debate. And then also, because we have multilingual learners, I just picked like out of the MIDA level of proficiency to use the level 3 to have Spanish words inside the lesson. So we're going to do Lincoln Douglas debate, but within the theory of Dr. Gholdy Muhammad's, tenets, and to do Lincoln Douglas. So I simply click add to workspace. And what happens is over here, that is actually what it does. It has generated this lesson. So it generates it over here on the right side. You can get rid of it if you want. There's all kinds of other options. Again, this is up for you to play. Just play. That's what we're doing here. And it just talks about the objective, the prior knowledge. This is just good lesson planning. And just talks about debate, that kind of thing. But then uses Dr. Gholdy Muhammad's tenets and the level 3 Spanish, and actually uses the Spanish words in here to make sure that they know which ones we're going to use. And again, this is just a starting point. And then do the rules. This is the direct instruction you have to do. Here's some practice assignments, some team-based activities, assessment, and so forth. So this is pretty much just the planning stages of it. And I'm just I think I've got all the parameters in there that I want, again, just to make sure. And we'll just make sure that I have it on debate. Again, we're just playing to kind of just show you. So a new lesson, because I really wanted it to see what happens beyond just a lesson plan. I think originally I just clicked lesson plan. We'll see what happens here and if that is true. Okay, so now we have the actual debate in a cooperative setting. So now we have, here's a warm-up activity. Here's your main activity, okay? And closure and all these other things that are going on. So the actual activity. Now I'm going through this really fast, but I just want to give you this really interesting overview. So let's just say, and again, we're just playing here. What if you want to do something where it's think, pair, share? What if you wanted to create learning stations? What happened if you wanted to do a jigsaw? What if you wanted to do something with gamification? I'm not sure how you can gamify in Lincoln Douglas, but we'll see. So let's just do that. We're still, that's just what we're going to do. And all I did was click.
Your topic and keywords down at the bottom stay when you click around.
Yep. So you've kept whatever you've imported. And then over on the right, new lessons keep being generated. So the newest one is going to be down at the bottom. And then over time, you can just go through and click out the ones you don't want anymore, and that kind of thing. So and if you kind of notice here, it says pairs, like you can actually do additional things as well. It's just different places you can click on it. Let's see if that was okay. So again, this might just be the same. Again, we're just playing around, but I just want you to see that you have all these different, so let's just because it says escape room, I don't know what will happen if there's an escape room. Let's see. I mean, again, it's just offering in a cooperative group setting. Escape room. So here we go. The Great Debate Escape Room. The materials you're going to need. Whiteboard.
Wow.
Here you're going to have your introduction that focus on her tenets of identity and joy built inside the lesson in escape room. Okay. Skill development, 3 or 4 members each, clue cards, riddles, puzzles, and then intellectualism is part, and criticality is also part of her tenet, and then the conclusion and so forth. So just by clicking on escape room, we already have that. But let's just say that we want to do, I'm just going to go back over maybe just some, let's just go back to planning. And I'm just going to see if there's a rubric. What happens if we just click on rubric with these in our prompt? I'm not sure what'll happen. Again, we're playing and we're just going to go ahead and add it to the workspace. Again, all the latest ones are generated at the bottom. So there was our debate. There is our escape room. And here's our rubric. Now they do have on it a 3-point rubric level. I know that if I wanted to right now, I could type in 1-point rubric because I really tend to believe in a 1-point rubric. So we could say using a 1-point rubric and we get different rubric, but there's your rubric. And it's all based on her 5 tenets over here as well, and our Spanish level words. Okay.
Wow. So, that is incredible. And that took 2 seconds. I mean, each time. And I mean, I've noticed obviously there's the speed, which is a part of when you said, do we have the time for the AI, right? Do we have the time to learn a new tool? Do we have the time to incorporate this flashy, new stuff? Because that's what I feel like a lot of teachers feel hindered by. Like, no, I know my stuff. I know what I want to do. And I don't have time to waste with this. But that was 2 seconds. And that would take me a long time. I don't even know how long. A long time to create 3-4 different lessons or plans for this topic. And yet, what I really like is the categories for the resources, because I often set up my units in that way where I say, all right, what is the independent part? What are we doing together? What do I want them to sort of play with? And that's that gamification and have some fun with before they get into the actual assessment.
And you just mentioned all those really fun things. And if you notice right here on the screen, like, okay, all the fun, but then, you still need to assess for mastery. How are they doing? Click assessment. Again, you pick and choose what you want or don't want out of the assessment. You're still the human. You're still making those decisions, but you've done that. Or like what you're really talking about is scaffolding, right? So all of that matters. Every learner is having a different way to learn, and it's personalized. Yeah. So this is just an example of our education tool, our AI tool for just focus on educators. So our time is up today. And so thanks for taking a look at this tool. We're not really promoting, I suppose for a fact we have it on, we're promoting something, but we're not, we're just trying to show you that you don't have to be afraid of it. All we're doing is playing and doing discovery. And if you really want to learn something, there are videos out there already explaining the process. So Casey, as we wrap up here and in thinking about our time, what do you think just for yourself, using it and so forth, any class, any setting, what are your thoughts?
Well, one thing that really kind of occurred to me here is I teach a debate course, and of course, now I'm inspired to to think about the lesson plan that you just showed. But I would say the thing that stands out the most to me is how busy my week has been the last 2 weeks. And, we've had our email conversations and our text messaging back and forth about like, oh, when are we going to do this? When are we going to sit down and do our show? And it takes us 15 minutes to dedicate some time for our personal growth. And if teachers around the nation take 15 minutes for their own growth, they will better themselves and they will better their students. And it's just about budgeting that time. And so our big question today is, do we have time for AI? And I say, do we have time for ourselves? Because AI development and understanding of how these tools work and make our classrooms better and easier, that's time for ourselves. And so, short answer, yes, we have time.
Thank you.